Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, today Utah had their state conventions for their, statewide elected officials in terms of seeing who advances to the primary. They do this every single time, and what we know is that the current governor, RINO Governor Spencer Cox, actually finished in second to Phil Lyman. Now, he's probably still in the primary, going to find a way to win. Again, Utah is a state that has a Republican Party, or a segment of it, that is fairly neoconservative, cringeworthy. They're not as much as some people think they are, but they helped Mitt Romney get elected. They, turned away from Donald Trump in 2016. 2020, Trump did a little bit better, and that we know, but still, that's something that a lot of these neoconservatives and rhinos are taking note of. And Mitt Romney thankfully saw the writing on the wall and realized that if he had a serious primary challenger, he had one named Trent Staggs, who's still in the running, and he realized that it was not exactly a good idea for him to go out there and run for re-election because he would risk embarrassing himself, and that's true. And Romney, his time is over. But this Senate seat is still a Senate seat that these neocons want a RINO Mitt Romney clone to be in the seat. And that's a problem. But Donald Trump today decided to take to Truth Social and give his endorsement to none other than Mayor Trent Staggs, which is absolutely huge because you look at this and it's like, this is a lot of pull right here in a race that's tight. You look at the polling. I didn't think he would endorse Staggs because Staggs was polling so far behind. Donald Trump usually doesn't endorse people he doesn't believe can win a primary. Maybe there's internal polling that has shown something different, but we haven't really seen a lot of polls in a while. But still, it's wide open. January, 52% undecided. A lot of people in Utah, maybe they're not exactly as pro-Trump, but he won the primary by a decent margin anyways. It wasn't as much as some other states, but he soundly defeated Haley there, and that was back when Haley was still in the race. You look at some of these other states like New Hampshire, Vermont, South Carolina, they were a little closer. Utah's primary system's different, but still, you look at this, you're seeing the fact that it's wide open. And John Curtis, who's a RINO, Brad Wilson, who's a RINO, Brent Hatch, who is the son of Orrin Hatch, who also was basically a RINO, even if not as much as somebody like a Romney himself. You're looking at it and it's like, yeah, honestly, this is a wide open race. Even the polls that had John Curtis at 40%, they still showed 43% undecided. This is a wide open ball game right here, right now. And Donald Trump coming out and endorsing Trent Staggs is huge because then you have somebody who is authentically conservative, in line with Donald Trump's agenda, representing the state of Utah. Yes, Utah is a state that it's not exactly where you're going to have some of these, Trump-aligned candidates win by the margin Mitt Romney won the state by in 2012. He won it by 50, was the reddest state in the country. Part of that is because he's Mormon. But it is true the state has moved left, but it did technically move right in 2020, and Donald Trump won the state by 21 points. It's possible that he wins it by more. Maybe you will see some of the vote in the, Utah area, the Utah suburbs, maybe it does go for the third party. Who knows what's going to happen? But still, Trump is likely going to win Utah by, 15 points, 20 points, maybe by even a little bit more than that. And it's true, some people will talk about Salt Lake City's growing. It is growing, although a lot of this population increase isn't necessarily from Californians moving there. Some of the Californians moving there are actually Republican. For one, a lot of transplants tend to be more so the transplants moving there than those moving to Denver or moving to Portland or Seattle, because there's a lot of California transplants moving to those areas. They tend to lean left. But the ones moving to Utah, are they as liberal? Not as much as some people think. It depends where they're living. But a lot of this increase does have to do with the fact that Mormons actually have a birth rate above replacement level, and they tend to have a lot of kids, something that a lot of people could look at and try to replicate, one could say, because our birth rate is really struggling in this nation right now. Could do a whole entire video on that, but still, It's a little bit besides the point. What I'm saying is this is not a race where we need to pick the eluctable candidate. And there's nothing that really points to Staggs as somebody who is not an eluctable candidate, because Donald Trump, it's a presidential year. He's going to go out there. He's going to win this state 15 to 20 points. That's going to be more than enough to pull whatever Senate candidate that's in the running over the top. I mean, the Democrats that are in the race are pretty weak, but that's when they come in to infiltrate the Republican primary, and that's going to be something to watch as well, because they've been doing that. They tried to oust Mike Lee in 2022 with Becky Edwards, who's basically the second coming of Liz Cheney. It didn't work. Then in 2024, they're probably going to try to infiltrate again. But like I said, Trent Staggs, he's competitive. You look at the spending reports, he's got $1 million in terms of his receipts already. He's not somebody who's running a campaign in the dark. And the fact that Donald Trump endorsed him, and a lot of these other candidates might be splitting some of the more establishment vote, it allows for Trent Staggs to go out there and win the primary, and he's easily going to win the general. And you talk about a state like Utah. This is a state that had Mitt Romney. He came onto the scene. Before that, it had Orrin Hatch. You had all of these old guard, neoconservative Republicans, which is a big problem. I think the red states need to be the focus. A lot of people talk about these open, primaries or in open seats in swing states. I'm not saying that we need to have weak candidates there. I think, you have to kind of balance the, basedness of the candidate with the viability in a general election. But you have so many red state Republicans who are weak. You look at Nebraska as another race. You might possibly see the candidate John Weaver go out there and defeat Ricketts. The state party's behind Weaver, though granted, Weaver really doesn't have a lot of money, so I don't know how well he's going to do. But in terms of this right here, this is winnable for Staggs in terms of the primary. It's winnable for him in terms of the general election. And the fact that Donald Trump came out and endorsed Trent Staggs, what does this do? This basically flips the seat Republican. It does, because Mitt Romney is essentially a RINO on many key issues. He is not in lockstep with Donald Trump's agenda, which is a major, major issue. So that's why you need somebody in a red state that can fit it well. Trent Staggs, he's a mayor. He is the mayor of Riverton, which is a place that's in the Salt Lake City area. And he is somebody who can go out there and win this seat, obviously, and that's what we need to focus on. Utah is a Senate delegation that could be the best, I'd say one of the best in the country, which we never thought was possible because it's Utah. I mean, Utah gave Trump one of the weakest vote shares in the 2016 primary. They got Mitt Romney into the Senate. They tried to primary out Mike Lee. It didn't work, but it was closer than it should have been. And you look at it right here, right now, Mike Lee, he's improved a lot. The past couple of Congresses, he's been on point the entire time. I mean, the guy has been solid on foreign policy, solid on pretty much every issue. You look at him under Trump, it was a little bit shaky. He's voting for increasing H-1B visas. They called him Mumbai Mike, this, that, and the other thing. But he's improved a lot. He's a great senator. And now you have potentially another great senator. You talk about the best delegations in the country. Ohio will be another one. If Bernie Moreno wins, I think he will. You'll advance in Moreno in Ohio. It fits the state well. It's a good delegation. Same thing in regards to Missouri. You, over the past, 5-6 years, you've got out Roy Blunt and Claire McCaskill, and you've replaced them with Josh Hawley and Eric Schmidt, two very, very solid senators. So you look at that, and it's just like, this is a big endorsement for Donald Trump to make because it has a lot of pull in a primary where he basically picked the candidate that can go out there, win the primary, become the nominee, and because he's going to be the nominee, and he's not running against Evan McMuffin again. It's not like 1v1. And even if he was, I think that Staggs would still win. But Staggs is going to go out there, easily win the general, and you're going to have a Mitt Romney replacement that is an actual conservative that you can count on to vote with Donald Trump's agenda. Hopefully Trump is going to be able to get in the White House once again, and he'll be able to enact it, and he's going to need a Republican trifecta. And he's going to need a big trifecta. I understand that people are upset with some recent antics within the House GOP, and that is true. It's been a disappointment, but also if Donald Trump's in there He's going to have a lot more say and pull in the agenda. You know, maybe you possibly could get a new speaker in there. Who knows what's going to happen? What I'm saying is Donald Trump needs a trifecta in order to go out there and get things done. You don't want to have Speaker Hakeem Jeffries, and you don't want to have Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer for another 2 years. You want to actually go out there and have a Congress that's workable to advance the agenda. And part of that is also getting rid of rhinos in these primaries, something we haven't talked about a whole lot, but there really haven't been a lot of contested ones. So this is a very good thing that Donald Trump is doing and a great step in the right direction. And it's a virtual flip for the Republicans from RINO to actual America First, MAGA, Trump conservative. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.